Hi friends, once again welcome to Evolve You for You channel. I'm so glad you joined us today. Now, today we are taking a journey through a life tragedy. Have you ever had one? I had one, yeah. By the time I was growing up, my mom was unwell. The disease that she was suffering from was not curable. So we expected her to die at any time. Trust me, that is not something that you wish even on your worst enemy. But every day when I was in high school, I will ask, how is she? How is she going? Sometimes she will struggle come to the visiting days when she was so weak. Sometimes I will just look through the window and she couldn't come in or manage to come to the school despite the fact that where I was schooling and where we were living was less than 2 kilometers away. It was such a tragedy. I think even knowing that she could die anytime was even more painful than any other thing that could ever happen. Yeah. So, in the process of this, she knew one thing. She didn't want me to stay in the homestead. We come from a polygamous family that I can say is wealthy or was wealthy. But because of all the dramas involved, it wasn't a conducive place to raise the children, especially considering that my dad had died and now her health was deteriorating. She didn't want us to stay in that environment because it was toxic. So she did what any mother could do. She thought, okay, maybe my daughter can be the source of help to the younger siblings. So she worked out her way whereby she thought I would move and study to Canada as fast as she could. What are the things she did? I took my ID when I was a year younger. Yes, I increased my age by a year. So even up to date, my documents don't match. My ID is saying another year, and my living certificate and my certificates are saying other years. Yeah. So she did all that because she knew time was not on her side. By the time I finished Form 4, she had already started working on the other things. The moment my results was out, somehow she managed. I got an admission to Appalachian State University. Everything seemed to be in order. My passport was ready, my everything was ready, and something else she did. She ensured I didn't stay within the homestead. So what she did is that she just immediately after Form 4, I went to live with my auntie in Nairobi. And I remember there is this particular day that she came over to Nairobi. She was quite weak, quite frail, but you could see the determination she had just to ensure that everything went on smoothly. The next day, we got the news saying that while she was traveling, the bus she was traveling in had an accident and she wasn't badly hurt, but she was in a hospital. So we left with my aunt and went over to the hospital. And the moment my mom saw me, she didn't even say hi to me. She asked me, Debbie, what are you doing here? And I was like, Mom, I've come to see you. And she was like, Debbie, please go back to Nairobi with your mother. In this case, she was referring to my aunt. And I just requested her one thing. I asked her, can I please go to the house first before I leave? She agreed, but she was not fully convinced if I should go. But I went to the house. Because of her health issues, she wasn't able to do a few cleanings in the house. So I did what I know how to do. I cleaned the house, I scrubbed the walls, everything I did. I knew that my mom will do the same thing she normally does after I've done a great job. She'll come and tell me, Debbie, this is amazing. So I cleaned the house, ensured everything was top notch, and I went back to the hospital. And just the way she had wanted, we literally went back with my aunt to Nairobi. A few days later, when I was cleaning the house in my aunt's house, I just slipped and fell. I can't even explain what made me fall, but I found myself down. While I was on that floor, I was like, what just happened? Because in my mind, it wasn't like a normal slide. And a few minutes later, my aunt came in and my aunt told me, Debbie, you need to be strong because mom is normal. I had expected this for all the days I was in high school. Somehow I had expected that one day this will come. But the moment that news got to me, I realized like this is another chapter. A chapter that I'm sure even her, she didn't want it to get to me when I was arrested. But anyway, we traveled home. We went home. I had two siblings after me. And just looking at them, I think it just drowned my pain. And I was like, this is not the time for crying. It's not the time for mourning. It's time to be strong for the people that have been left behind. So the funeral proceedings started, or maybe they were going on. We have some able relatives. I think even the coffin was imported. Everything was at par. The funeral people came with their shades, with their nice black dresses. It looked so colorful. But deep down, I knew there was something more than that. Even during the funeral, there are some things that I had seen happening and I didn't like them, and I just couldn't keep quiet about them. And in the process of testimonial, I happened to mention a few of them, which didn't go well with some of the relatives, but I said them anyway. And I remember after the funeral, one of the people that my mother expected to really take care of me, she told me point blank, she told me, Debbie, the person who was connecting us is no more. So we are no longer relatives. And that dawned on me. It's not like I didn't expect it, but it still came out as a shock. So she got to her car and left. So here I was, friends. At one point, I was going to Canada, Appalachian State University to be specific. I was going to do law. I had my passport. I had my calling letter. I had done the TOEFL exam. I had told my friends, you know what? I'm out of this country. Yes, I am like gone, yeah? And then at another point, I was looking at my 3-year-old sister and my like 7-year-old brother. And I was like, what next? What do we do? Where do we go from here? And in the midst of all this, there's one person who I can't even pinpoint who this person was, but he came to me and talked to me in a very polite voice. And the person told me that it is well. It is well. God is in control. Somehow these words sank in me, and I felt that peace. And I knew that it's gonna be okay. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but at that particular moment, I think that particular person just spoke to me. You find me in a funeral even today, I'll forever go to the people who have been affected directly. I just sit next to them and say a word or two. Because maybe that is what they normally need most of those cases. Yeah. So that was it. That was just like the end of it. But in the process, when my mom was unwell, there's this white couple that came over, and this white couple for her before she passed, and they followed through. Even with the funeral, they were there. They even brought pizzas in the village, and people were so happy eating pizzas at the funeral. Yeah, and at some point, they stuck closer than the relatives that my mom thought that will be there for us. And it was just amazing how strangers can come in, like they literally fell from heaven because they were not in the picture, and they had taken this family like it was their own responsibility. So after the funeral, after everybody had driven their cars at God, they were done with the deal. Yeah, yes, they had buried the person that was dead. It was a done deal. Nobody even came to ask about what about the children. At least I was 18, but here were some two little children. Nobody came to step up and ask, what do we do for them? Yes, that is life, my friends. So after this, what I did is I tried talking to Appalachian State University. I tried explaining my sad stories as people normally do. I said it. I sent the emails over and over. I didn't get the response. So at some point, this white couple, they came over to us and they told us the only thing that we can do is we can open a tailoring school for you people. Instead of just helping you, we can pick other orphans, come up with a project and train you. Now, when I was in high school, we had this beautiful teacher who will tell us over and over again, work hard so that you don't become tailors. Whenever I remember those words, I didn't want to hear this tailor's story. But what did I have in front of me, my friends? Appalachian State University wasn't answering me. No relative will step in to do anything despite the fact that I had the qualification. And here, somebody was offering me tailoring. Was I supposed to take it? If it were you, my dear friend, what could you have done? Would you have continued chasing this dream of being a lawyer at a university from outside? Or could you have picked the opportunity that was laid in front of you? And even as I wait to see your comments on the same, I'd like to share what I learned in the whole experience. Yeah, from the loss of my mother, I learned how precious mothers are. They are irreplaceable. So if there's any teenager who is out there still giving their mothers a living hell, trust me, you should cherish them. For some of us, we just wish they were there, especially a few years after she had passed. And I was a young girl, even by the time I was getting into marriage. I was just wondering, I wish mom was here. I could have asked her how to go about this. At some point when I was facing some things in my life, I would say like, if only mom was there, I would just pick the next flight and go and just stay with my mother, knowing that she'll not judge me and she'll just love me for me. Yeah. So I learned how losing a mother can be such a great deal, and it is a great deal. The second thing I learned is about the value of time. My mom tried everything. She pushed my age so that I get my identity card on time. She did things, but if only she had maybe only a month more, the story could have been different. Yeah. But for some reasons, the month more didn't come. Yes, the month more didn't come. And that shows us the value of time. The people who still have their children around, they are still alive. Let us value time and let us do whatever needs to be done today. Because yes, we proclaim that with long life, He will satisfy us. But sometimes the long life is not as long as we expect. So let's take advantage of the time that we have and just share it with our loved ones. The third thing that I learned from all of this is importance of health. I've told you that she was suffering from an illness and we knew that things might go south at any time because the disease had no cure. But here we are, still helping, still with strength. There are some decisions that we are making that might lead our children to go through whatever we went through. Yeah? If only you can eat less fries, or maybe add some healthy meal into your diet, or drink the required liter of water, or maybe stop some habits that might lead to endangering your life, maybe drugs, maybe sleeping around. Whatever you can do to prolong your life for your children, please do it. That 1 month, that 1 year, that one day may make a very big difference in your child's life. So you have the chance to change things before your health starts deteriorating. And then something else that I learned is that sometimes the people that you expect to help you are not the people who help you. Because you remember I told you, like my mom, she told me, go back to Nairobi with your mother. Because all her hopes were on her. But for some reasons, it's a stranger from nowhere who came in and stepped in and just did the thing that she had thought that her relatives would do. Just know that our help comes from the Lord. And sometimes your help comes from the very unexpected. And the final thing that I learned from all this is that sometimes you have to take the path that is not that good to you. Because actually, if somebody could have told me a month before that the option that I'll have in front of me is being a tailor, that was just a no. There's no way I can be a tailor. But sometimes the road not taken is the way to go. So in my other videos, we'll see what happened. Did I fight to be a lawyer? Am I a lawyer? Am I a tailor? Did I use this route to get to the other route? Did I give up any other route? But even as we really think which route did I take, I'd like to see, have you ever lost a loved one, even if not a mother? What did you learn from losing that loved one? And how did you survive? And how did it change your life? Let me see that in the comments below, friends, so that together we can help someone. We can help that kid who have shattered dreams, who don't know who to turn to, who even feels like committing suicide because maybe whoever they were relying on is dead. Yeah. But either way, if there's anybody who is going through such a thing, it is well. It is more than well. God is the father of orphans. I've seen His faithfulness. He held us. We have never begged for bread. He didn't give us an opportunity to beg any of the relatives, and He took care of us in His own special ways. Just the same way He sent these white couples to take care of us during this period, He has sent people to watch over us. But even as God does His part, let us just know that it is not a guarantee that we should just go and misbehave and expect that God will take care of us. Yes, He will take care of us, and He has promised the same in His word. But we also have a part to play. He said, "Draw unto me, and I will draw unto you." So it doesn't just come like a blank check. You have a part to play. Then He also plays His part. But anyway, if there's anybody who's going through a similar thing at the moment, just a few words. He's faithful, and He will take good care of you. Be still and know that He is God. Once again, thank you very much for joining us in Evolve You For You channel. I hope you are being encouraged, you are being challenged, you are being helped to evolve to a better you, no matter what life throws at you. Till next time, thank you very much for joining us.